This is Stephen Schmidt for InsiderIowa.com. This week we had Governor Culver give his State of the State address, and I blogged it, I wrote several columns on it, and it was very interesting because, of course, it comes at a time when Iowa is in substantial difficulty, especially financial difficulty, and also it comes in the year when there will be a governor's race. So I want you to understand that the State of the Union address for the president is both a policy speech and a political speech, and it's the same for the governor. So Governor Culver basically reviewed what had happened in the last year in Iowa, and then he laid out his policy suggestions and gave the legislature their kind of marching orders for what he wants them to accomplish in this session. But then he had a fourth message in there as well, and he needed to come out looking good for his reelection. So it was four different things that happened in the State of the State address that Governor Culver gave, and when you watch it or if you read about it, think about those four. The one thing that was not evident was the turmoil sort of around the edges of all this. Number one, the issue of gay marriage or same-sex marriage in Iowa is still very politically alive, even though the Iowa Supreme Court has ruled that it is the right of people in terms of their civil liberties to marry anyone they want, I assume anyone who is of legal age and so on. Opponents to gay marriage say that it is a moral issue, that it is something that they are not going to give up on and that they will push for. And even though the legislature isn't likely to introduce any legislation, both the opponents of gay marriage who want to basically pass a constitutional amendment in Iowa prohibiting gay marriage and the groups that want to keep the current Iowa Supreme Court ruling legalizing marriage legal will be working on the legislature and the governor, and they were both there in the State House, but the governor kind of sort of skirted that issue. The second thing is that the governor did launch some more spending initiatives, even though the state is not in great financial shape. He said the state budget is actually balanced and so on, which is technically true, but the state is not in very great shape, and I said this morning to a national audience on a radio show that the one thing can come that will derail everything that the governor talked about. Let's say the snow melt in Iowa this year is severe, and we have a lot of very difficult flooding again in places in Iowa where we are prone to flooding. That will create enormous problems for maintaining a balanced budget and for the initiatives, the school money for schools and so on that the governor talked about. There are also other people who say that his school initiatives may actually be very difficult to accomplish because there are not. I talked to a guy this morning who was very knowledgeable who said there aren't very many schools in Iowa that qualify for the federal money that the governor would like to attract to Iowa, so how that's going to happen isn't clear. The third thing is that critics, and the Republicans are certain to attack him, are saying that the governor should have actually seen the budget crisis coming. He was warned long ago, and he kept launching initiatives that may be very good policy to create jobs and train people and attract companies and so on, but that were very expensive at a time when the economy was looking like it was going to start shrinking very quickly, and that he should have been cautious at that time a year or more ago, and the Republicans are sure to use that in criticizing him, especially whoever runs against him, which could be one of a number of people. It's starting to sort itself out, but they will certainly ask why the Democrats in the State House and the governor in particular went ahead with the spending. I thought the speech was very well done. It was he skirted a lot of issues, and he got a big standing ovation and a lot of applause and a lot of enthusiasm. Unfortunately, the governor has a weight problem, which has become a real issue now. He really doesn't look fit, trim, and mean, which is what people would like in a leader. And so already the humor, or the nasty humor, and the sort of personal attacks on him around his weight issue have become a big issue. So Iowa is moving into a period of an election. The State of the Union speech was the opening shot of the campaign. I think it's going to be very dirty, and it's going to be very competitive moving forward until next November. So keep tuned to Insider Iowa, and we'll try to keep you up to date. Thanks a lot.